Klein.
Here.
Nis.
Here.
Price.
Here.
3 present.
And staff is current.
On a general overview, or do you have a specific?
And quantify.
Do we know how that? Do we know how that 30 to 50 compares to, say, Mountain View or Sunnyvale or Menlo Park?
I'm sorry, I don't have those numbers.
Menlo Park has an ordinance. I believe Mountain View does as well.
Correct.
Yes, that's why I wanted to know whether they
Enforce it?
well, and how many people they have in this category in their town.
You know,
Excuse me, that's not our process, sir?
I'm sorry, I don't have the number for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Dennis Burns from the Police Department. I'm just going to share some statistics with you about contacts that we've had at Coverly in the years 2010, 2011, 2012, and so far this year. And this is relative to people who have been associated with living in vehicles at Coverly site. And so we went to Coverly and dealt with folks on 10 occasions in the year 2010. In the year 2011, we dealt with them, folks living in vehicles on 16 occasions. Last year, 2012, it was 39 occasions. And so far this year, it's been 9 occasions.
So, Chief Burns, could I also ask if you would bring the person you brought with you, and I'm sorry I've forgotten his name.
Sure. It's Acting Assistant Chief Bob Beacom.
Thank you.
But
Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you.
You and I talked briefly, about this issue, and one of the aspects of it that you addressed with me is that those that are in vehicles that are really living in their vehicle rather than spending the night there, but this is the only place apparently that they have to sleep at this point. Therefore, are unsheltered, as Minka spoke of it. Could you talk about some of the sociology of it, because you mentioned that there tends to be movement, and I think the chief just mentioned that as well.
Yes, I mean, I think we've identified in town.
Get a little closer to the mic.
I think we've identified in town there's probably between 30 to 50 homeless people living in their vehicles. And as I think Curtis had mentioned, most people that we come across who do live in their vehicles understand the ordinance, the 72-hour ordinance, and that's really all that we've had from an enforcement perspective to make sure that these folks are moving along. But of the 30 to 50 that we feel are living in this town, they understand the 72-hour ordinance, and so whenever we go out and we use any enforcement tool that we have currently, which is our 72-hour municipal code violation, we'll mark these cars, and they just move to different areas of town. So the ordinance, basically, as you know, mandates them to move at least a half a mile every 72 hours. And so they comply with that, but we find that when we go out and tell people, hey, you're in violation or you're going to be in violation of the 72-hour rule, they just move to different areas of town. And so if we deal with one area of town, whether it be on the 72-hour rule or we put up new parking restrictions, we're just displacing them to other areas of town. And so we're not seeing the numbers drop, we're just seeing them go to different places. And so the complaints just shift to different areas of town.
And you're guessing that the numbers that you can identify to some standpoint are 30 to 50?
Our parking people would probably be the most familiar because they're out dealing with stored and abandoned vehicles and complaints on a daily basis. And so the numbers, our best estimates working with Mika and her group are 30 to 50 people living in their vehicles at any one time.
Do either of you have questions?
Do we know how that 30 to 50 compares to, say, Mountain View or Sunnyvale or Menlo Park?
I'm sorry, I don't have those numbers.
Menlo Park has an ordinance, I believe Mountain View does as well.
Correct.
Yes, that's why I wanted to know whether they